Promise yourself that this time you'll stick to it. But then life happens. Distractions, excuses, bad habits, and suddenly weeks or even months pass and you're still in the same place. Why? What if I told you that the most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation? They don't wake up every morning feeling energized or inspired. They rely on discipline, the ability to control their mind, their thoughts, and their actions, even when they don't feel like it. But here's the problem. Discipline is hard. It's painful. It requires sacrifice. So how do you train your mind to become disciplined? How do you go from someone who struggles with consistency to someone who achieves their biggest dreams? This is the story of Ethan, a man who had everything working against him. But one decision changed his entire life. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do the same. Ethan was just like most of us. He had dreams, big ones. He wanted to start a business, get in shape, and take control of his life. But every time he tried, something got in the way. At first, he blamed external factors. His job was too stressful. He didn't have enough time. He wasn't naturally gifted. But deep down, he knew the truth. The real problem wasn't the world around him. It was the battle inside his own mind. Every morning he hit snooze. Every evening he told himself, I'll start tomorrow. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and before he knew it, years had passed, and he was still stuck in the same place. He watched successful people on social media and wondered, what do they have that I don't? They weren't necessarily smarter. They weren't luckier. So what was the secret? Then one day, everything changed. It started with a conversation, one that Ethan would never forget. One evening, he met an old Navy SEAL at a coffee shop. The man was quiet but had a powerful presence. Ethan, out of curiosity, asked him, what's the most important lesson you learned in the military? The man took a sip of his coffee, looked him dead in the eyes and said, discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. Those words hit him like a truck. The old SEAL continued, most people fail not because they aren't capable, but because they let their emotions control their actions. Discipline means doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. Ethan sat there in silence, letting those words sink in. For the first time, he realized something. He had been waiting to feel ready, but readiness never comes. If he wanted to change his life, he had to start now. Not when he felt motivated, not when life became easier, but right now. That night, Ethan made a decision that would change everything. Ethan woke up the next morning at 5 a.m. No snooze button, no excuses. His body screamed at him to go back to sleep, but he forced himself out of bed. He didn't wait to feel motivated, he simply acted. That was the first lesson in disciplining the mind. Action comes before motivation, not the other way around. For too long, Ethan had been waiting to feel like working out before exercising. He had been waiting to feel like working before starting his business. But successful people don't wait. They act first, and the motivation follows. The first few days were hard, really hard. His mind fought back. It told him to quit, to take a break, to go back to his old habits. But he ignored it. And slowly, something changed. The more he forced himself to take action, the quieter his excuses became. He realized that self-discipline wasn't about being perfect. It was about showing up every single day, no matter what. One morning, something strange happened. Ethan woke up before his alarm. For the first time in his life, he didn't have to force himself. He didn't have to fight against his own mind. Discipline had become a habit. He no longer saw discipline as suffering. He saw it as power, the power to control his own mind, the power to dictate his own future. He started applying this mindset to every area of his life. Fitness, no excuses. He showed up, even when he was tired. Business, no more procrastination. He worked, even when he didn't feel inspired. Relationships, no more avoiding difficult conversations. He faced them head on. For the first time, Ethan was in control. And that's when he realized the second lesson of self-discipline. The mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. 6 months later, Ethan's life had completely transformed. He had lost 20 pounds and felt stronger than ever. He had started his own business and was making more money than before. He had built unshakable confidence, not because he was lucky, but because he had mastered his mind. Looking back, he realized something incredible. Discipline is freedom. Most people think discipline is about restriction, about suffering, about making life harder. But the truth is, discipline